Hey, that's soup.
Yes.
Is it a yamachi? What is that thing called?
Ayamashi.
Ayamashi. Do you guys make ayamashi?
This is small. I want to take some.
Bangkok.
Yes, ma'am.
Landy. The moema is so good. The arrow
Where is it?
is over there. The moema is really nice.
You have to get no, with yellow.
Yes, so I do as well with me.
Oh.
That's her name in her Netflix sign up is around 2 weeks.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Wait, what is in the rice? What is in the rice? Potato? What is it? Oh, just bell pepper. It's pepper?
Yeah, Joe. This is Billionaire breakfast brunch. Africa's best breakfast brunch. Yes?
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is yellow.
Section of the Rambis.
I know. Chief Jackson. Eat. You're a billionaire. Eat.
This is Billionaire breakfast.
Brunch.
Brunch.
There's breakfast this side, there's lunch on that side.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'd like to thank you for your patience. Our distinguished guest speaker today is had to go through lots of loops to be able to get here. He was in Djibouti 2 days ago for a meeting that he had to cut short. Flew into Qatar last night at 12 midnight. They took off around 2:30 or so a.m. Just to get here. He's hardly rested, to get here. So want to thank him for taking the time to do this. But just to give us perspective, Mr. Amaju Pinnick is a FIFA board member. He's a member of FIFA. The former president of the Nigerian Football Federation. But that's not what is most interesting about him. Apart from the fact that our paths have crossed a lot, he's, I can say without equivocation, that he's singularly the reason why my journey towards being called to serve in Delta State as a Commissioner for Culture and Tourism for 8 years was due to his instrumentality. He is one of the biggest community builders in our state, Delta State, and particularly in Warri, where we both come from. We are very proud of that little town that is called Warri. It has produced most of the biggest comedians in Nigeria, and some of the biggest actors as well, and musicians. And he continues to make sure that Delta State is represented, Warri is represented in the entertainment industry. He runs one of the biggest concerts every year, both in Warri and in Lagos. This year, December 26th, we'll be doing that. It's called, the franchise is called Warri Again. Now, whilst I was sleeping, after all of these that I've said, whilst I was sleeping, I came to find out that he has gone into farming. Yes, which is the biggest news of today, because our topic, of course, is food security as well, and people like him, when they go into farming, just like actually Freddie here, they do it big. He's running probably one of the biggest tomato farms in Nigeria today, and also exporting tomato, to America. But he's a better storyteller than I am, so I will let him come up here and tell us about his journey and why he does the things he does. Oh, by the way, his hands are also in oil and gas. Just for perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to call on my brother and my friend, Mr. Amaju Melvin.
Well, I don't know if I truly deserve this or how this accolade. And really too, I don't know how to start, in Warri we call it freelance, we just call it freestyle, so that we can enjoy ourselves, whatever conversation we're going to have here today. First, I'd like to thank the organizers. When my big brother, is trying to patronize me, he's beyond an icon, It's not, when it is seeable, he's one of the invisibles in Nigeria. And beyond even the shores of this country, he's one of the most respected.
Yes.
So when he summoned me, not that he told me, when he summoned and directed that I should be here, because I'm seeking re-election into the FIFA Council in March next year, so I need to traverse the length and breadth of this continent. And so far, from January till yesterday, I've done about 33 countries.
Wow.
Even though you see that you have quality, but politics is beyond quality. Apadori in his book said, politics is politics. When they ask him, why do you say politics is politics? He said politics is a definition where the definite does not tell us about the definite do. That which has been defined cannot tell you that which will be defined. So it's vague. So you need to work extra mile, ensuring that you get those mileage. Well, I feel very, very humbled to be in the midst of people with very tall brains and very, very alert. So you are confused on how to start, on how to approach the subject that you are approaching, that you're going to be discussing about. Well, I don't know how to start, but I can say that when I was in university, I didn't meet him in university, so that will tell you that I'm a skilled brother, you know. So when I was in university, I didn't pass JAM. You know, I didn't pass JAM. You know, those of us that know what's called JAM is the regulatory body in getting to university. I didn't make the cutoff back. But of course, in Nigeria, we lobby to get into school. But that lobby can be a turning point for you and say, even if you lobby, the first day I got into university, I told myself, I know I didn't pass, but if I'm leaving this university, I'm going to leave this university with money, I'm going to leave it with distinctions. I told myself. Because when I went home to tell my mom that I've been admitted into the University of Benin, I was 19, that's 34 years ago, 35 years ago. And she said, you are my last child. I would have wished I had all the money to go buy you a car to go to school. But my brother was in University of Lagos, Chemical Engineering. My other sister was University of Nigeria, the one was in the Polytechnic. And I saw her eyes welled up with tears. So I told myself, those tears were a turning point. So I got to school. Every weekend I'll come to University of Lagos to spend a weekend with my brother. So this weekend I came to University of Benin, Lagos. They were having what's called a Missionary concert. Very massive concert. It was in 1990. So after the concert, the president of the club was my brother's roommate. I saw them counting money. Plenty of money. And I said, wow, is this rubbish concert we attended yesterday, they are counting all this money? He said, yes. I said, so there's money in all these things? He said, yes. So I went back to school. I called my friends. I have some friends, I call them with Ivy League backgrounds, and some they worry people, you know. Merge them together, we're 7. I said, okay, let's start a club. Now I wanted to do Miss Unibank. Then I said there was a franchise in Unibank already called Miss Commit. So there's no way we could do Miss Commit. Okay, Mr. Unibank, they said there's a franchise called Mr. Caveman. We couldn't do Mr. Caveman. I said, okay, let's do musical. So we came to Lagos. We are affiliated with a club called Billionaire, Varsity Live Award Night, University of Lagos. And we told them that we wanted to announce ourselves in the bank in University of Benin. And they said, okay. So they will help us. At that point, the rave of the moment at that point was Shina Peters. If you combine Burna Boy, Whiskey, and Davido together, they couldn't meet the demands of Shina Peters at that point. It was huge, it was big, it was massive. So we needed to announce ourselves, you know, in a very grand style. So I came to Lagos. I was just barely 19, yeah. I came into Lagos. I went to a place called Idioro, where the office was, you know, Mushin, if you know Mushin, Lagos. I saw a shop guy, Demola Kondri, I can remember. My brain, I'm sorry, with all due respect, I have a very retentive memory. So I saw him, I remember the first day he took me upstairs. Oh, University of Benin, no, we don't do university shows. So I prevailed because I was very insistent, and finally he agreed that we should pay 25,000 naira. So we had to go back to school to raise 25,000 naira. We raised 7,000 naira, I came back, I paid, and so be it. Then we paid, then we eventually paid. In fact, when we started pasting posters in University of Benin that we were bringing Shina Peters, it was the biggest, they said it's a big lie. It's like telling a university now that you're bringing Burna Boy, you're bringing, one of those Kenya West. They say it's not possible. Burna, Shina Peters that refused to go to Oba Palace to perform, Shina Peters that refused to go to come into University of Benin. They started tearing our posters, but I knew what. The day of there was nobody in the hall. There was nobody in the sports complex, but I knew. So we were standing in front of the school gate. So we just saw their vehicles coming in. I just said, please, the only advert you do for us right now, let's just drive through the school and drive. Once we drove around the school, we made 96,000 naira.
Wow.
We brought 96,000 naira. When we took out this thing, from that day, I bought 2 motorbikes.
Wow.
And they were giving me 200 naira every day. From that day till today, by God's grace, I've not been broke.
Yes.
So I'm just giving you a background. Even Shinabita has called me. I told him not too long ago. He called me. This young guy that was always coming to Lagos. Yes, join the show. I said yes. So he gave me 5,000 naira. Unfortunately, I was going to bring that to my wallet. So I took the money to UBA, next to University of Billionaire, and I lodged that money there. That account, I still have it to date.
Wow.
So that's like my humble beginning. So when you say about the Warrior Again concert, is like that's the origin. So we started, we did Shinabitas, we did Blackie, we did Daniel Wilson, we did Shinabitas again. Then we eventually did the biggest, which was Fela in 1993. We took Fela to University of Benin, we paid him about 500,000. Though Fela, Fela is quite a handful, was quite a handful. But we still navigated our way and made some reasonable profit. So that's my background. I've never in my life worked for anybody. By His grace. The only time I had was stints with government. I have stints with government. My life is all about football. Since I couldn't play it, I believe I must play an integral part. If I cannot play it, I should boss the people playing it. So I told myself I was going to be part, because I also went to a secondary school that was a football friendly or a football infested secondary school, Hosi College. It's the only school in Nigeria that produced 17 players in our Super Eagles, our main national team. Wow. From Ebinyo Didiari to Josie Dombrae to Juche Kato to Topsy Dosien, Michael Obiku, all the big names. Clement, Akpome Metemile, Akpome, Miss Life is Sweet. One of the best players those days in Nigeria. So all went to Hosi College. So that also remolded me, into being part of the football family. So it's not, I would say, accident of history. I love the musical, but the one we do, the concert that we do, is not, I wouldn't say, it's not a business thing for me. It's just what Richard and I believe in. We are very worry-centric. Thank you. we are very worry-centric. Because worry happens to be the goose that lay the golden egg in this country. Worry is supposed to be, but when we go to worry, it hurts. When what we see is like going back to your background, going back to your home, and you see things that when you were growing up, if you go to a club called, like for example, Beach Combine Worry those days, it's 100% white patronage. You won't see any black man. It's not as if they bounce you from coming there, but that's the town, that's the vibe. Jolly Rogers, Auntie's Kitchen, Viva Mexico, Diploma, different. The immediate past, no, it's okay. The immediate past, the British Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria, Peters, was born in Warri. His father was working in Shell. His father was the one that developed what's called the Bunga field, one of the offshore assets. He grew up in Warri. And of course, when he told me that, so that's the kind of worry. So that's why we decided to introduce what's called the Warrior Again concert. It's like a narrative change. So I used this small corporate experience I garnered when I was in university to, and today, if you're around on the 26th, we can invite you. It's one of the biggest concerts in this country. It's a narrative change, but we put in the best quality in terms of organization, in terms of policy. It's going to be on the 26th. Some of us that are around, we normally have my family beach party on the 29th. We'll go to the beach today. It's a small place, but you enjoy it, then you can also. He's my big brother. Whatever he says is final. Trust me. So that's my background into that. Then if you look at also when you say oil and gas, I'm more in marine. The marine sector, because my mom is from, I hate using the word escravos. If you know how escravos, 98% of why Chevron is in Nigeria is in escravo. But escravos is a colonial coinage for the word land of slaves. So I hate using it. The real name is Uborodo. Uborodo, yeah. But I mean, we're all learning. So I hate using that word. It's a Portuguese word. To me. So, and we latch into what's called the local content possibilities. A law enacted by Nigeria. You can't just come to Nigeria. So you look at local content. So we also build. That's how we started with AMP Ventures when I left university in 94, 95. Then that metamorphosed into the Brown Hill Investment Company, which is my marine offshore support services. We provide every support services for the oil industry, And so that's my foray, and that's into that area. Then, not too long, let me not bore you. I think I'm taking too much of your time.
No, you're not.
So from there, we also started the Brown Hill Construction and Engineering Company because some of the jobs they were giving us. They said, why are we calling all these companies to come and do our construction? Our technical partners. Okay, we decided to introduce our own engineering company, got technical partners, of course with the best facilities. Today, with our technical partners, if you go to the stadium here in Lagos, we are the one doing it with the entire cover. Ogbe Stadium, the one in Benin, the one in Oyo State, and a couple of work that we're doing using the Brown Construction and Engineering. Then, in the course of my being in football, I traveled practically every week, because I hold very critical positions within CAF. CAF is the Confederation of African Football, which also I'm a member of the executive committee, and FIFA Council. So when you travel, you see things, and what you need to do, you need to take them home. Yes. And bring the good ones and leave the bad ones. Some of the bad ones are bring the good ones home, So we decided at that point to, usually in Morocco, when I go to a place called Tangier, I've been in Tangier. Tangier, when people say Marrakech, everybody say Marrakech, but I prefer Tangier. From Tangier, Morocco to Spain is just about 15 minutes. Yes. It's a beautiful place. It's where the Mediterranean meets the Atlantic Ocean, So you go to Tangier, you go to Agadir, you go to all those fairs. So very proud cities in Morocco. On your left, you see different kind of greenhouse farming. So normally I would stop and find out, and that's how we started. So we approached the Oyo State government about 4 or 5 years ago, and they obliged us. And at that point, they were developing what's called the Fashola Isheyin Agri Hub. It's a business hub, and being superintended by IITA, International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, is run internationally. AIDB, World Bank, and all those people they support. IT is is a reference point in Africa and beyond. So we approached them, and they gave us 30 hectares of land, and immediately we started with one hydroponic greenhouse. Then I called my team. We employ some of the best brains from universities, from different, So I called my team and said, are we just going to do normal farming? Are we just going to start exporting tomatoes? Why don't we go a step further? Because I'm a very, what do we call it, very aggressive, I can't just stay in one place. That's the meaning, I always want to take it to the next level. So everybody's selling tomatoes, we'll be selling tomatoes too, So I'm going to sell tomatoes. Let's see how we can convert tomatoes to powder. Let's see how we can convert tomatoes to powder. So I said, okay, so we did a feasibility study, we commissioned some people, and they came back and said, yes, the powder is not in Africa. There's a bit of it in Turkey, but it's not as pure as the one that we're advocating that we wanted. So, and there was a lab in Canada that we need to discuss with. They developed that recipe for Demi. So we flew to Canada, and it's called the Food Development Agency. And we met with a professor, of crop science and agric. So we had a very good meeting, and he said, "Oh, hey, why do you just want tomatoes powder? Why do you want just one condiment?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I can cook for you." I said, "Cook how?" He said, "See this lab, most of the food in the Caribbean, we cook for them. Nobody has time these days. You want to put tomatoes, pepper, and all those stuff. No. If you look at this sachet, they call the name of the food. Say this is one very special delicacy in the Caribbean. But if you look at it, look at the nutritional value. It's even more nutritious than if you do it." I say, "Why?" They say, "Because if, for example, you're unwell and you go to a hospital and the doctor says, take 2 tablets. It's telling you to take 2 tablets because it knows that within the confines of those 2 tablets, there are specifications you cannot go beyond." He says, "So, but when you are cooking, you cook blindly. 3 tomatoes, 4 pepper. He said, "But here it's very intentional about what they want to provide. So if you look at the nutritional value, they'll tell you calorie intake is this, and there are stricto sensu being adhered to." So he told us and said, "That's it." He said, "So we'll cook for you." He said, "Which delicacy is rich in Nigeria?" That's not just in Nigeria, it's called jollof. He said, "Jollof?" Say yes. Then he went in, he Googled it and came back. He said, "I'll cook jollof for you."
Wow.
You know. So we entered an agreement, we paid him $100,000. And it took us 18 months for him to develop the jollof rice recipe. But he did. But trust me, when he was developing, there was the time I went to Canada, we went to the lab, we had to bring firewood. Brought firewood, did everything. Why? He was trying to get the patty jollof taste. The smoke effect. To scoop into a pipette and keep in the back. They did all those things, and now we have 19 condiments. And 19 condiments, some of those condiments are here in Nigeria. We can only bring in 2. So we said, okay.
Wow.
So we did that. We tested it. We did a lot of tests around. We did in US, we did in London, we did in Lagos, we did in Warri, we did in Abuja, and they all came out about 80-90%. We have not come out 100%. It's going to be called the Pinnick Instant Jollof, you know, and there's no screen here. I would have shown it, you know. I'd have put it on the screen for you. So we've done all the registration with the American Food Agency, Canadian Food Intelligence Agency. We are working with NAFDAC. And we just brought in all the equipment from Canada, China, and Germany to be producing same in oil. So we've got to a new place now where we're going to mount our plant. What we are doing in Canada now, because we've gotten all the registration, we've gotten everything ready. We'll be rolling out in Canada in January. And they will take care of Canada and America. While the one in Nigeria will take care of only Nigeria alone same kind. Yes. You know, because the essence of our instant jollof is that you don't need refrigeration. And it has a shelf life of about 18 months.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
Now, so it's for everybody. Like when noodles came to Nigeria, what's noodles?
I know.
But today, so because it's innovation, you can't just be stagnated whatever you're doing. You must always think ahead and know what you're doing. As we are doing that, I went back to the professor and said, "But we have to give us another franchise." I said, "What?" He said, "One pepper soup." So we paid you for pepper soup already. So, but let's just finish this one. We're going to do that. So it's easy, just instant. Jollof rice, when he was preparing it, you don't need anything. Just open your sachet, pour it into a parboiled rice, and that's it. But you need to add your oil because he told us, you know, people in Canada, I mean, in the Western world, they are very, very thorough because there are different kinds of oil. Some people use canola, some people use olive oil, and some people use different kind of oil. So he said, no, if you take that, it's going to also reduce the shelf life. Yes. So we have to take all those things out and know what we're doing. And today, by God's grace, January, February, we'll also be rolling out because we brought in all the machines. We are just waiting for them to tell us when they'll come and set it up for us in our state. We've also increased our greenhouses to 2, and I'm sure by February it's been commissioned by the president. So we're looking at turning out about 4,000 metric tons of tomatoes every year, just from the greenhouses. Then because the tomatoes we're going to be turning out will not be enough for our jollof rice mix. Yeah. Now we are meeting some farmers in the north and some clusters that do normal open farming. You know, because tomatoes from greenhouses are too good to be true. If you know the tomatoes from greenhouses, you know, very nice. You don't want to squeeze them and start blending them. So we're talking to those farmers in the north to see how they can move tomatoes to us, because the machines needs to be running, you know, all the time. So that's because what's food security, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. Food security is the quality of food that you provide, and the quality is not just for the quality. Food security is not limited, not so generous to just the size. Is the quality, and it's very, very important. The quality is very important, you know, because that's what sustains it, that's what keeps us. So, and that's what we have done, and we're also doing, in the greenhouse, we're also doing bell pepper, we're doing kale, we're doing spinach, you know. Agric, of course, is the future, and that's the truth. It's today and the future. Because, and the good news about Nigeria as a country, arability. There's nowhere in Nigeria that's not arable. It's a country that is so richly blessed. If you read a book by Amaju Melvin Pinnick called Politics Among Nations, he highlighted 5 elements that makes a country superpower. The first is that of population. Do we have it? Yes. There is subdivided population to quality and quantity of the population. We have both. We have both the bad and the good and the ugly. Then he went to agricultural potentials. He didn't say the potentials of agriculture. The potential. The element there is the potential. Do we have the potential? Everywhere in Nigeria is arable. In terms of aquatic, just look around. In Djibouti yesterday, after one of the events, after our meetings, my host just, come, let's go somewhere. We went from a big pond, they were bringing out fish, all kinds of fish, tilapia, scubia, all kinds of fish. They will just bring it out there. We have same in Nigeria. They talk about industrial capacity. Do we have it? We have it. They talked about mineral resources. But the most elemental I talked about is that of leadership. Because leadership is the only animate factor that can coordinate all these other factors for whatever development that you aspire. And we are praying that our leadership today will go in that direction. Because we have the enormity of what we have. We cannot comprehend it in this country. But I'm a believer of this country. I love Nigeria because I've been in that space. I've been in that space where if I speak in the council, nobody's looking at me as Amaju Pinnick. They are looking at me as a Nigerian. And what do they believe is a Nigerian? Very educated people, very enlightened people, very poly, very aggressive. A bit of good, bad, and ugly, but more of good. You know, so that's how they see me. So to me, is to come back and also represent whatever we are doing here in that sphere, in making people understand that whatever we are going through is a phase. Beautiful roses always grow on thorny plants. That's right. Nothing good comes easy. But once it comes out, it will come out pure for everybody to appreciate. When people come to Nigeria, they don't believe, but I'm a firm believer of the tomorrow of Nigeria. I know that. So when people just, it hurts me. I call Nigeria the greatest country in the world. And that is what, that's my belief. It might be subjective, it might be dogmatic, but that it is what it is. You know, I'm proud of this country. I'm always very proud of this country. Always very, very, very proud. We don't have any other country called our own. You know, I'm not going to talk about segregation, I'm not going to talk about racism, I'm not going to talk about, but as a Nigerian, trust me, whatever conspiracy, grand or whatever we have against this country, we peel into oblivion someday, and Nigeria will raise its head as one of the greatest countries in this continent. I want to thank you. I don't know if you want to go further, but I'm tired and I'm tired. I want us to start going to the beach now. Let's go and enjoy ourselves. Too much of talking, I don't tire. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Pinnick, for your very, very brilliant presentation and elucidation. Very inspiring, yes.
Yeah.
You can imagine what he would have done if he was not tired. So the idea is to be able to network. So please, Mr. Pinnick, just so you know, if you ever have need to expand to Ghana, we have one of the biggest landowners in Ghana.
Yeah, he's upstairs.
Yeah, as part of us, is a king from one of the kingdoms in Ghana, from
And I'm the
Yanda.
development queen.
Yes, and he says, he might not have money, but land. He has plenty land. He can give you plenty.
Good land.
Yes, yes, very good land as well.
Yeah.
The
Big brother saw it.
the Arability, yes, I've been there. The Arability of Nigeria, Ghana shares it as well. I think without a doubt, Africa is so blessed. No matter where you go, imagine small Djibouti that he went to and see what he was saying. The Gambia is the same thing. Malawi is the same thing. Cameroon is the same thing. But that inanimate thing, the animate thing about leadership is always going to be a challenge. But we share in the Africa Brain Bank, we share the enthusiasm that Africa will rise, and Africa is already rising. Thank you so much. I think we've had a nice, beautiful session.
That was powerful.
Yes,
That was
very,
loaded.
very powerful. And I think that, like you said, we should. You can see he's already on his beach wear, so.
I know.
So we will. We'll take in any more questions.
No, not. I will continue at the beach. We need to get out of here.
Yes. Okay. So let's go change and.
12:30.
12:30. Please be downstairs, so we can go to.
The bus leaves at 12:45 exactly.
Okay. Yeah. All right. 12:45. So that because the beach, the jetty we are going to is just about 5-10 minutes from here. Might not even be up to 10 minutes if there's no traffic. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.